Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Cuyahoga County Human Resources Appointments and Equity Committee meeting this Tuesday, July 23rd. Roll call, please.
As a reminder to all in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Ms. Turner. Ms. Turner is absent. Mr. Gallagher?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Present.
Ms. Conwell? Ms. Conwell is absent at the moment. Mr. Sweeney?
Present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Ms. Conwell will be joining us in moments. Public comment, please.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we do have two people signed in for public comment. Alia Reed.
Hello, my name is Alma Reed. I'm a representative of ASME Local 27. I work at OCSS. I was here last Tuesday when you guys had the first reading of what is proposed by Human Resources and the Chief of Staff, Eric Janis, about the work from home hybrid policy that they're trying to enact. I know I spoke last time and I gave you guys some figures, so I just want to come back with some new figures for you guys, okay, to further understand what will happen to workers that are under this 2-day thing that they're trying to impose. So right now we're currently 3 days at home, 2 days in office, okay? So I spoke to a couple of workers who have kids, childcare, okay? Right now the average for childcare for 2 days is $112. Adding in an additional day for childcare now goes into a week. So 2 days is $112 for those 2 days. You add on an additional day, it goes into a weekly total now. That weekly total jumps from $112 to $300+. Okay, so the email that we received, once again, is a total contradiction of what the county's proposing. It will not help the county retain and attract employees. Most companies are either fully hybrid at home 5 days, or they're hybrid at 3 days at home, 2 days in office. This younger generation will not be attracted by what the county's offering. The county's just offering something that will alleviate them from any problems that we maybe see forfeit coming. This is not flexible. It is actually adding to the total cost of every employee each day to come down here. As of today, I parked. Once again, today I cannot eat lunch because now when I go back to the office, I have to pay to park again. We have no in and out privileges. So there goes my lunch. This cost is going to go up each and every day. I do have paperwork. I will be here at every meeting. If you guys will accept paperwork, I'll give it to you and show you what our job really entails, because I really understand that a lot of county council members do not know what our job entails. I've been at the county at child support for 11 years. Within those 11 years, I've only seen 11 clients. We don't see clients on a daily basis, okay? And I've only seen one since the pandemic. I know this may not be on the agenda. I might think it might be the last thing on the agenda, but you guys will see me at almost every meeting so you guys can fully understand what we're dealing with and what we want to keep at us, what we have currently, which is 3 days at home, 2 days in office. It helps us out great. So I'll see you guys again, and that's it. Thank you.
Sir? Sir? Yeah, it's not even up for discussion right
I
now.
understand.
We won't address it until September.
So go to September?
I think we understand your concerns, and Ms. Conwell and myself were employees, so
Okay.
I think we fully understand the ramifications of what you're saying, okay?
All right. Can I ask you a question?
Well, this
I
isn't,
want to know the date of the next.
and
the
you can get a
September.
parking pass, so you don't have to pay.
Okay. I still got to pay when I get back, but do you have a date for September?
You could talk to staff, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Amgad Gabra.
I don't want to waste your time. My name is Amgad Gabra. I'm AFSME 27, the president, and I was about to speak the same. So in order to save your time to discuss the important matter, I'm going to just thank you, and that's it.
Thank you. Committee, in your packets, we have the minutes of the July 9th meeting. If they're in order, I'll accept a motion in a second.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Matters referred to committee 2024-0276.
And I would like the record to reflect that Ms. Conwell is now in
Ms.
attendance.
Conwell is here. Welcome.
Looking for you upstairs. No.
The first item will be taken out of order. Item 5G, Resolution 2024-0276, confirming the county executive's reappointment of David Wondolowski to serve on the Cleveland-Cuyahoga County Port Authority Board of Directors for the term October 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2028.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Chris Alvarado on behalf of the County Executive and pursuant to Section 6.04 of the Cuyahoga County Charter and Chapter 4582.03 of the Ohio Revised Code, I'm here to recommend the reappointment of David Wondolowski to the Cleveland-Cuyahoga County Port Authority Board of Directors for the term beginning October 1st, 2024, ending September 30th, 2028. We are requesting a second reading suspension.
Welcome, Mr. Wondolowski. I believe we're all pretty familiar with you, but what do you have for us?
The port plays a vital role in economic development all across greater Cleveland. And obviously it runs hand in hand with what we do, which is workforce development as well as job creation and also our role in economic development. So it's a perfect fit. I have a perfect attendance record. I'm always punctual on time. And I come to the meetings prepared, and I look forward to serving another 4 years. Thank you.
Questions for Mr. Wondolowski? Hearing, yep, Mr. Miller.
Mr. Chairman, to David, I appreciate your coming down and your service on the Port Authority Board and your long service in being one of the premier leaders of the organized labor community in Greater Cleveland. And my question is that I know that the Port Authority adopted a policy a year or two back which either relaxed or eliminated, I'm not sure exactly, but it downgraded the prevailing work process at the Port Authority, and I'm wondering if you could provide us some insight as to exactly what happened and whether you're going to pursue getting that reversed and what the prospects would be for doing so. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Yeah, it was rolled back. At this point in time, we are not pursuing that, but we are trying to hold developers accountable and ensuring that they meet their DE&I goals, because when the top brass at the Port Authority claimed that the prevailing wage was an issue in getting deals done, they painted it as a boon for DE&I, and so we're making sure that that is exactly what we're getting, and the board stands united in making sure that developers are responsible in contracting practices, and that small and minority businesses get a share of the work here in Northeast Ohio.
So the action that was taken, did it completely eliminate the prevailing work requirement, or did it scale it back? And if so, how did it change it?
It's given developers an option to pay 100% prevailing wage on the projects and receive a larger share of the purse in the bond financing deals, and a smaller share if they pay 0 to 99% prevailing wage. So it is true that a developer doesn't have to pay any prevailing wage on their projects, which causes me concern, because typically that's when we see out-of-state contractors coming in here with out-of-state workforces. And so again, in doing my job, both with the building trades and with the Port Authority, we will hold developers accountable and continue to be a watchdog for the public.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Walnowski, how are you today?
Doing great.
There's a whole bunch of people watching because you're such a dynamic personality. Tell us about you a little bit, so everybody can.
Father of 3 kids that are grown now and live in Broadview Heights and just trying to be an active member in the community.
And you do a very good job. You started off in the bricklayers or something?
I was
Tell me
an
a little about
apprentice
that.
bricklayer and worked my way up to I'm a former councilman in Broadview Heights, of course, and served in public capacity for the last 2 decades, over 2 decades, and done so with every ounce of integrity I can.
Yeah, through the chair, and I just wanted to.
Yep.
You came in saying I'm a board member, but you're more than that. You've been around for a long time. You have multiple parts of your life all put together, helps you be where you're at today and doing a good job here. How's the port operating now? Because it's kind of cool that there's.
Yeah, generally speaking, it's operating very well at a very high function. I'm pushing for some increased transparency, but outside of that, I think that the staff does a great job, and I'm pretty pleased with the progress.
And through the chair, Will's doing a good job. I was here when he first started. There's some heavy stuff happening, and as we sit right now, we have a well-functioning administration with the leader, but we have an independent board that aren't always on the same page, and I believe that's the footprint or the map of how an operation should run.
A respectful disagreement leads to good government.
Yeah. Wow. You said that well. You delivered it. Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Wanda, or Mr. Walnowski, you have my support. Thank you.
Further questions? Hearing none, if the committee's in agreement, we'll move Resolution 2024-0276 to the full council under second reading suspension.
So moved.
Thank you, and have a great day.
We didn't vote yet.
In a second, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Thank you, Mr. Wondolowski.
Please add my name.
If you would add Mr. Sweeney. Resolution 2024-0234.
Resolution 2024-0234, confirming the county executive's reappointment of Keith A. Peppers to serve on the Cuyahoga County Archives Advisory Commission for the term December 1st, 2023 through November 30th, 2027.
Mr. Chair, on behalf of the county executive, pursuant to Section 206.11 of the Cuyahoga County Code, I'm here to recommend the reappointment of Keith A. Peppers to the Cuyahoga County Archives Advisory Commission for the term October 1st, 2023, ending November 30th, 2027. We are requesting a second reading suspension.
Welcome, Mr. Peppers, and we have your resume.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'd like to be reappointed. I've been with the Cuyahoga County Archival Advisory Commission since its creation, I think in the beginning of 2018. I'm just one of the members on the committee that meet to discuss and discuss the promotion and preservation of history in Cuyahoga County. I've worked with Judy at the County Archives, or Dr. Satina at the County Archives, since I was a student some years ago, and now I teach public history at Baldwin Wallace University, and I have students that have interned with Dr. Satina at the County Archives as well, and I just like to be involved because I think the archives are a invaluable resource, unique, undervalued, and there needs to be people that have the best interest of the archive in mind. It's an incredible resource, and I think there needs to be more attention paid to what they preserve there and what they do. So,
Thank you. Questions for Mr. Peppers?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say thank you. You take it serious. It's our history. And remind me, there's one, how many staff people are there? Is there one or two?
There's two full-time and one part-time, I believe. Oh, there's 5 full-time now?
Got it. And
5 full-time staff responsible for preserving and promoting all the various, the history of all the various departments that deposit their material there.
yeah, so basically, I just want to say thank you. I mean, it's not flashy, but it's super important. And the way you present yourself, I know you take it serious. And we have more people like that, we're in good hands. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Sweeney. And yes, yes, ma'am.
Through the chair to Mr. Alvarado, can you give us an update of what's going on with the signage out there? The archives?
Through the chair to Councilwoman Conwell, I believe that is something that is being worked on through Department of Public Works with Dr. Satina, but Dr. Satina may have better information than I do about this. My apologies.
Morning.
Morning.
Yeah, could you repeat your question, please?
My question, Dr. Satina, was at one of the previous committees, it probably was Public Works, we learned that there were some issues with the signage outside or something
Oh.
that needs to be repaired.
No, that has been taken care of. It has now been painted, and it looks very attractive and sleek. We're hoping in the future to have something. We had a sort of a transparency of the 1874 Atlas. And when we moved, we wanted to make sure that people would identify that building with the archives. Unfortunately, being subject to rain and snow and wind and all the other environmental factors, it just peeled away. So it was tried again. And apparently that was equally ineffective. So we are trying to find something else. But at this point, I think it looks quite nice.
Dr. Satina, if you could just state your name for the record, please.
Sure. I'm Judith G. Satina, Cuyahoga County Archives.
Thank you.
Further questions? Hearing none, I'll accept a motion for Resolution 2024-0234 to full council under second reading suspension.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
2024-0259.
Resolution 2024-0259, confirming the county executive's reappointment of Reverend Benjamin F. Golston, Sr. to serve on the Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Services Board of Cuyahoga County for the term July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2028.
Mr. Chair, on behalf of the county executive and pursuant to section 340.02 of the Ohio Revised Code, I'm here to recommend the reappointment of Reverend Benjamin F. Golston, Sr. to the Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Services Board of Cuyahoga County for the term July 1st, 2024, ending June 30th, 2028, and we are requesting a second reading suspension.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Ben Golston. We have your resume, where some of us are familiar with you. If you would, what do you have for us?
First of all, grand rising to all of you. I'm Ben Golston, pastor of the Heritage Community Baptist Church. I also have been on several boards in this venue, the Mental Health Board, the Drug Board, and now the Adams Board for the last 23 years. I have also served on the, and co-founder of the Hunger Network Board of Greater Cleveland, and served as its chair as well as the chair of the Adams Board. I'm community activist, president of the GPAC Political Action Committee, and I'm also a member of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
Well, through the chair to Reverend Goldstein, Can you just give us an update or share with us how's things been going there on the board? And is there any new avenues that you guys are discussing in terms of that will impact the community? And I guess that's the crisis center?
Yes, there's a new proposed crisis center. We also have developed a diversion center out of the MRAC decision of the consent decree. We're also presently discussing a further training in the faith-based movement of informed trauma care. Under the influence and direction of Dr. Lenkowski, who was a noted psychiatrist here in Ohio and a board member, it was determined that 80% of psychosis are spiritual in nature, but yet 90% of the therapy is clinical. And so we're trying to make sure that we move in a direction that perhaps a clinician would have a theologian available, or a theologian would have a clinician available to enhance the recovery of the people that are being served. The Adams Board is very aggressive and progressive in its pursuit of DEI. Since 2000 about 5 years now, we've been developing a very strong and robust and aggressive DEI process to make sure that all the citizens of Cuyahoga County get the necessary culturally specific kind of treatment that's necessary to ensure recovery.
Is that reflective in the workforce as well?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Chairman, Reverend, I see in you. Pretend Scott's not in the audience. Tell us what you think about him.
Oh, Scott's in the audience, and I can't stand him, okay? Okay, no. I've worked very well with Scott for many years on the Hunger Task Force and the Hunger Network several years ago before coming to the Adams Board. He's a very strong person in terms of his forward thinking. We don't always agree on how things should be done, but we do find a way to work things out.
Through the chair, and I agree. I just wanted to have he gets a little nervous every once in a while, so I give him a little plug or a little push. But I've always liked the board members, especially on this one, strong, independent individuals working together, helping
Yes.
mold his vision for the betterment of everybody is how I see it, and it's been operating that way. There's a little hiccup maybe 2 years ago with a couple of the discussions on the board, but I think that's been resolved, and now it's moving forward. So I just want to say thank you, and if we can ever be helpful up here, I don't know how, but if you get stuck somewhere and you want somebody to put a little plug in, don't be shy.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Hearing none, if the committee's okay with it, I'll move 2024-0259 to the full council under second reading suspension. Motion?
Second.
And a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Against? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
2024-0272.
Resolution 2024-0272, confirming the county executive's appointment of Milak Rashid to serve on the Cuyahoga County Citizens Advisory Council on Equity for an unexpired term ending July 14th, 2026.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On behalf of the county executive and pursuant to Section 208.01 of the Cuyahoga County Code, I'm here to recommend the appointment of Milak Rashid to the Cuyahoga County Citizens Advisory Council on Equity for the unexpired term that began on July 15th, 2023 and ends on July 14th, 2026. We are requesting a second reading suspension. Also, Clerk of Courts, Naila K. Bird, may be coming down to provide a little bit more information about this particular advisory council.
Welcome.
Hi, good morning. My name is Milak Rashid. Thank you for the consideration to join the Citizens Advisory Council on Equity. I currently serve as the development director at a nonprofit called Smart Development. We provide post 90-day services to newcomers of various backgrounds in their support to acclimate and adjust to their new communities. I also serve in other capacities, such as a board member on the CARE Ohio board, as well as I also am on the Arab Americans of Cleveland's advisory board, and I also serve on Cleveland Votes advisory board as well. What piqued my interest to join is just the trajectory of my life, but also my professional background. I did obtain a master's at Cleveland State University at the Levin College of Urban Affairs and Public Administration with urban planning and nonprofit management certificates. I did take a pause on my PhD program from the University of San Diego online in social change, focusing on how the public, private, and nonprofit sector can work towards more equitable communities. And I think while my educational pathway and the privileges I had to be able to attain these different certificates and degrees have brought me a lot of experience to be able to serve the communities I'm trying to seek an impact in. I think my personal background is oftentimes where I draw my most inspiration and what has been able to help me impact not just my own community, but those I intend to serve who are marginalized. Both of my parents are refugees from the West Bank. I am a Muslim American, and I think these different experiences oftentimes draw a lot of different ways that I can serve, again, not just my own community, but others. Being able to see what my family's trajectory is and knowing that when you think about how to serve with an equitable lens and social justice, you really think about a person, not just who they are visibly, but all their intersecting points that make them who they are, to be able to provide them equal access to opportunities and resources. And I do that oftentimes in my job, my day job every day with newcomers who come from various different backgrounds. And just because they are refugees, they have so many different things that they need when it comes to access and to be able to thrive properly. So when I think about how I'm able to provide interventions and improve the outcomes for individuals, the reason why I applied to join this council, this particular committee, is because the equitable access to those opportunities and resources really only come when you do it at a larger scale to make systematic change. And I really think that the recommendations that I could hopefully be able to provide in my participation, along with the other colleagues I'd be serving with, I'd be able to make a larger impact across Cuyahoga County, which is a really beautiful and diverse county. And being able to make sure people feel represented and heard is really important to me, and the ability that I can serve in that capacity.
Thank you. It's nice seeing you again. I've had the privilege of interacting with her about a year now, and the future is right before us, to be very blunt with you. And you forgot to say you're on the library board,
Yes,
right?
I recently was appointed as a trustee of the Cleveland Public Library. With that alone has been really an honor. It's been just 3 months, but to also be a part of projects that they work on, such as language access. And oftentimes we don't think about how language access impedes someone's ability just to be able to learn and grow. I had the privilege to, during the pandemic, to be able to work with Global Cleveland to translate Governor DeWine's daily updates, and that were posted on the website and also posted in other platforms so people who are non-English speakers can be able to learn and make sure that they were keeping safe during the pandemic. Another area that I work heavily in with my role at Smart Development is we work very close with the new Welcome Center that the Cuyahoga County opened, and really making sure that people have access to public benefits regardless of their ability to understand English or also be able to utilize technology as well.
And through the chair, when you started, you were so nervous.
Yes.
Just breathe. You're talking now. It's actually nice, and no one really knows what a strong, independent young woman you are. And I've seen that throughout the conversations that we have. You listen, you're like, no, this is how it's going to be done, and I get a kick out of that. So I'm fully supportive. And do you have enough time? I mean, you're like 5 boards plus work plus whatever. You have enough time through the chair?
I will say I do. I always make a joke that I only have my really wonderful cat that I'm concerned about. So public service comes really easy to me. I think too, when I look at, again, the privileges that I've been able to have, there's not many other Arab or Muslim women who I think have been able to have that same access to opportunity I have. And I really think that it's important that I can be able to bring those point of views and experiences for individuals who also just don't have the same pathway that I have.
Well, Mr. Chairman, thank you, and look forward to supporting you on this one.
Thank you.
Hearing none. Resolution 2024-0272. Accept a motion of the full council, second reading suspension.
I second.
I have a motion and a second.
Yep.
Further discussion?
Can I have my name at it?
Conwell, please.
Ed Sweeney?
Sweeney?
Miller.
Miller? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Thank you. 2024-0273.
Mr. Chair, Council Rule 9C allows for the reading of very similar items by abbreviated titles. Therefore, items D through F will be read into the record by abbreviated titles if there are no objections.
No objection.
Resolution 2024-0273, confirming the county executive's appointment of LaRon Clayton for the term July 15th, 2024 through July 14th, 2027.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On behalf of the county executive and pursuant to Section 208.01 of the Cuyahoga County Code, I'm here to recommend the appointment of LaRon Clayton to case for the term July 15th, 2024, ending July 14th, 2027. We are requesting a second reading suspension.
Mr. Clayton?
Good morning.
Welcome.
And thanks for having, excuse me, thanks for having me in the consideration for joining the case. My name is LaRon Clayton. I currently serve as the Vice President of Veterans and Housing for Volunteers America, Ohio, and Indiana. Though I'm a Youngstown native, I've called Cleveland home for the past 22 years. My background includes a decade of service in the United States Army Reserve, in which I deployed to Kuwait in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. I hold a master's degree in business administration and a bachelor's degree in social work, and I'm also a yoga instructor for balance. From an early age, I committed to dedicating my career and my time to serving something greater than myself. And so that commitment is evident not only in my military service, but also the work that I've been able to do professionally and volunteer, as well as board membership. Before joining the Volunteers of America, I worked at the AIDS Task Force of Greater Cleveland in various capacities, starting out as a program coordinator and working my way all the way up to interim executive director. During my time there, I focused on targeted outreach strategies for HIV prevention and education, as well as really focusing on the needs of individuals living with HIV and AIDS and providing the care and treatment that they needed. I also directed a research project aimed at developing social behavior intervention, looking at men who have sex with men and how their social networks contribute to their risk of contracting HIV, which was really significant because we understand the history of African Americans participating in research projects. So I'm extremely proud of that. Currently, as the Vice President of Veterans and Housing for Volunteers of America, I lead 2 teams across both states. I have programs here in Cleveland all the way to Evansville, Indiana. And within those programs, we provide services to veterans to really improve their quality of life. So we offer homeless prevention services for individuals who may be at risk of falling in the gap or experiencing homelessness. We offer emergency shelter and transitional housing for veterans who are experiencing homelessness at that moment, and providing a safety net and wraparound services to truly support them and getting them stably housed, but also working with them to get employed if they're underemployed or if they're unemployed, or even working with them to get their VA benefits so that they can continue to sustain their housing. We most recently added suicide prevention services. We recognize the suicide rates in veterans are extremely high, and the unique piece of this is we're not working with veterans when they're in crisis. We're doing everything we can to prevent them from falling into crisis. And so being able to provide that support outside of the safety net of services that we've already provided. Additionally, we offer affordable housing for women veterans. We have a project here, Judge Sarah J. Harper Village, which is here in Cleveland, and Annabelle's Place that's positioned in Cincinnati. Both are 12 affordable housing units specifically for women veterans because we understand the challenges that they face. In the past, I've served on several boards. I served on the board of directors of the LGBT Community Center, as well as the steering committee for the Human Rights Campaign here locally. I also served on ZenWorks Yoga, which is an organization that provides yoga to students in CMSD. And part of my role on that board was really working to build capacity within the families. So we had the yoga instructors going into the school teaching the young people how to self-regulate, but my role was really developing the capacity within the families to really support them when they're at home using that, because we also know that yoga is not a practice that the African American community has been well versed in. So really working to build capacity in that and understanding the tools that we have within our body to help support and self-regulate. Currently, I serve on the board of the Black Professionals Association Charitable Foundation, Project Lift Services, and documentary songwriters, which work with individuals who are experiencing trauma and allowing them to utilize songwriting as a way to express themselves. As a Black gay veteran who served under Don't Ask, Don't Tell, I have firsthand experience about inequity and how that contributes to individuals who are living within the intersectionality of marginalized communities. Like I said, I've always liked to position myself and dedicate my time to serving things greater than myself. I check a lot of boxes, and so sometimes I'm called to sit at the table to just be representative and be a voice of those individuals that represent those areas in which I live and breathe in each and every day. And so the idea of serving on this board was really exciting to me. You know, in thinking big, I'm going to be rolling off of some of the boards, and so really focus on dedicating my time to something, again, much greater than myself, and I really appreciate the work that the case has been doing and really want to be a contributor to that.
Thank you, Mr. Clayton. Questions from Mr. Clayton?
No questions, just add the name.
Mr. Miller.
So, just a comment that around the country, DEI is under attack, and there's people that are trying to roll back these kind of efforts, and it's a good thing that here in Cuyahoga County we still believe in it, and that we're trying to expand opportunity and include everybody, and so I appreciate your stepping up and being involved, and that we have to continue to support these efforts, and I think we've made good progress, and we also have a good ways to go yet. So we got to keep the effort going, and it'll make a stronger and better community. Thank you.
Anything further?
I just want to say, Mr. Chair, that the original, and there are probably a few individuals that still sit on the Citizens Advisory Council on Equity, but it's a breath of fresh air to see some younger individuals stepping up to fulfill some of these roles. As we age, we need younger and fresh ideas sometimes. So I'm just excited that we have some new participants that are younger.
Okay.
Thank you.
If everybody's comfortable moving Resolution 2024-0273 to the full council under second reading suspension, accept the motion.
Second, motion?
Second.
And motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Thank you.
And if I
2024
may, can I confirm we're adding Ms. Conwell and Mr. Sweeney to the
Ms.
as sponsors?
Conwell, I didn't hear Mr.
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Thank you.
And Miller, 2024-0274.
Resolution 2024-0274, confirming the county executive's reappointment of Colleen Cotter for the term July 15th, 2024 through July 14th, 2027.
Mr. Chair, on behalf of the county executive and pursuant to section 208.01 of the Cuyahoga County Code, I'm here to recommend a reappointment of Colleen Cotter for the term July 15th, 2024 to July 14th, 2027. We are requesting a second reading suspension.
Good morning. I'm very proud to be here. I'm Colleen Cotter. In my day job, I'm the executive director of the Legal Aid Society of Cleveland. I've been in that role for 19 years. I've been serving on case for the last 3 years, very proudly. I have to say I'm a little intimidated by my if I am reappointed by my new colleagues on case. They're incredibly impressive, and I'm excited to have the opportunity to work with them. Just very briefly, in my last 3 years on case, I have learned a lot of things. One of the biggest things that I've learned, which of course I knew already, as all of you do, is equity is a big word, and there is a lot of work to be done. And as Councilmember Miller said, the concept of equity is under attack, unfortunately, and I'm proud that Cuyahoga County is not backing away from pursuing equity and inclusion. I have recently been asked by the relatively new chair, Habiba Grimes, to serve as chair of the subcommittee on justice. And as we launch that, clearly the central campus with the new jail and the services provided for folks who are incarcerated in Cuyahoga County will be a significant focus of my subcommittee. I think that the new jail and the opportunity to provide equitable services and support for folks who are disproportionately brown and black in our justice system, in the criminal justice system in Cuyahoga County, is a very important role for CASE to provide both support and also accountability for the county as we move forward. So one of the things that I have tried to do is bring to CASE sort of what should our priorities be, because we cannot boil Lake Erie, but where can we add value as citizens of Cuyahoga County to, again, provide opportunities and feedback and problem solving, and also hold the county accountable for the things that they certainly want to do. But as I said, equity is a big goal. And I agree with the council member that we have made progress and there's a lot more to do. This work very much aligns with my work at Legal Aid, where bringing justice and equity to our community through the civil legal services is critical to our role at Legal Aid. So I'm pleased that I think I can bring some perspective and some level of expertise from that angle. And there are a lot of other folks on CASE who are bringing their own perspective and expertise. And together, I think it's a pretty strong group. So thank you for consideration of my reappointment.
Through the chair to Executive Director Cotter, have you been brought into the conversations that the county has had in regards to the jail?
Yes, thank you, Council Member Conwell. We have had a number of presentations from folks in the county, and I know that we've met with Lauren, I'm forgetting her name, who's been recently appointed by the county executive.
As a lifeline, Naila Bird, Clerk of Courts, Laurel Diaz.
Laurel Diaz. She has been to a couple of meetings. I've met with her individually as she's helping to design the Central Services Campus. I know the September committee meeting is going to be focused on the new jail and Central Services. And as I said, with the subcommittee that I'll be chairing, we will have a special focus in that arena.
Thank you. And I'd like to add my name.
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Cotter, just a quick recommendation, which is if you're not already starting this, to work closely with the subcommittee that's just been created in Chairman Gallagher's Public Safety Committee, where they're reviewing juvenile justice and bindovers and stuff like that. So you should get with them and try to help them come to some really positive and forward-looking recommendations.
Thank you, Councilmember Miller. I absolutely agree. We've talked about that issue briefly at CASE, but have not dove into it. So I would appreciate the opportunity to interface. It's an incredibly important issue, and again, the impact on Black and Brown youth is huge. And I don't work. My day job is not in the criminal justice side, so it's an interesting engagement for me. And since I'm not in that court or in that system, but have a perspective on it, I hope we can bring something to improve that system. It's hugely important.
The amount of disparity on who gets bound over is just huge.
Yes.
Yeah.
To clarify, the subcommittee will not be discussing or being involved in bindovers or appointments of attorneys. That's a function of the court, and through the state of Ohio, that's the jurisdiction there. The purpose of the committee is to really look at recidivism. How are we going to grab these kids once they enter the confines of the juvenile justice, and how do we grab them and stop them from coming back? And that's, in and of itself, is a heavy enough lift. But to add bindovers and how the court functions is not our mission, is not our place. We went through that in an unfortunate way during our budgetary process, and it was not pretty. So we're staying away from that, but there's plenty enough to do, I think, with the juvenile justice as far as recidivism and what we can do, what they're doing now, which is substantial, but what more we could do, or could we pump up what they already are doing? And we'll leave it to that committee to report back to us to things that we can control, and usually that means money. So
Noted. Thank
there's
you.
There's a little gray area out there. There's no gray area. There's a box, and we want to stay in that box so we don't step on our justice partners in any way again.
Fair enough.
Okay, but thank you. And we added Conwell in that, please.
Yes.
If everybody's okay, I'll move Resolution 2024-0274 to the full council under second reading suspension. And the motion?
Second.
And a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Thank you.
Thank you.
2024-0275.
Resolution 2024-0275, confirming the county executive's reappointment of Dr. Charles Maudlin for the term July 15th, 2024 through July 14th, 2027.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On behalf of the county executive and pursuant to Section 208.01 of the Cuyahoga County Code, I'm here to recommend the reappointment of Dr. Charles Maudlin. We are requesting a second reading suspension.
Good morning. Good morning to all of the council members, the board members. Thank you for allowing me to be here to go before you in consideration of my being reappointed to the case board. I've served one term already, and I'm looking forward to serving on another term. In preparing to come before you and having again served on one term, I reviewed the mission and purpose and function of the case committee, and I recall that the county, Cuyahoga County Citizens Advisory Committee on Equity is committed to advancing and promoting equitable outcomes for all citizens. The county strives to achieve equity in its operations in a manner in which the county promotes economic, educational, health, and social progress of its county and residents. And I point that out because my value in serving on the case committee is focused on improving the health of the citizens of Cuyahoga County. I myself have been a resident of Cuyahoga County now for over 31 years. I'm a urologist, a transplant surgeon. I spent 28 years at Cleveland Clinic innovating a number of health equity programs, which I'm now innovating many of these health equity programs at Metro Health. I moved over to Metro Health in September. It'll be 3 years. And I consider health equity, the fact that health equity should be actually at the top of mind of everything that we do, and at top of mind that everything, in consideration of everything that the county undertakes as well. I've actually dedicated my career not only in being a surgeon, a urologist, transplant surgeon, but also in addressing and being a leader in the space of advancing health equity and elimination of health disparities for all. Being a respected figure in the medical community, I strongly believe that my continued service on the CASE Citizen Advisory Committee on Equity would be value added in advancing our shared mission of creating a more equitable and just society. Throughout my career as a physician, educator, and community leader, I've been unwavering in my commitment to addressing health disparities and improving access to quality health care for all individuals, regardless of their background or socioeconomic status. I've spearheaded, as I said, a number of outreach programs to underserved populations in advocating for policy changes that will actually help promote access to health care. And I've consistently demonstrated my dedication to this cause. I also want to use this opportunity to remind everybody that a lot of the healthcare disparities that we see disproportionately afflict minority and underserved populations and are attributable to many social determinants of health. And a lot of this is related to the fact that recently it's been realized that racism is a social determinant of health itself. A lot of that, the healthcare disparities that we see stem from structural and systemic racism. And one objective that I do have, by serving on this committee is to leverage my experience and my dedication in working in this space to further discussion of eliminating a lot of the structural and systemic racism that actually contributes to the health equity inequities that we see. Again, I believe that health equity should be placed at top of mind of everything we do, because if we are not healthy, we don't have the opportunity to pursue a lot of the economic opportunities and other educational opportunities that I know that this county board is focused on. So with that, I'd like to thank you for considering me to be reappointed to the CASE board. I stand fully committed to doing what I can do to advance the objectives of the CASE board. I actually do serve on several other, currently on several other boards. I'm actually chair of the Health Equity Committee for the local American Heart Association board. I'm on the National American Hospital Association board, Business Volunteers Unlimited Health Equity, the Health Equity Committee for the NAACP, and I've served on the Health Equity Committee for the 100 Black Men of Greater Cleveland as well as many other boards and committees, including the National Kidney Foundation, as well as others. So thank you for this consideration.
Hearing none.
Thanks.
Thank you. If the committee's comfortable, we'll move Resolution 2024-0275 to the full council under second reading suspension.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Ed Conwell. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Please add my name on 274 and 275.
Mr. Miller, 7475. Under discussion item,
Various changes to the Cuyahoga County non-bargaining classification plan.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the committee. I'm Albert Bouchahine, Manager of Classification and Compensation for the Personnel Review Commission. Thank you for allowing me here to present and answer any questions you may have about changes to the county class plan that will be introduced to the full council on July 30th. At the regular meeting, the PRC will be recommending council adopt changes to the county's class plan under first reading suspension of rules due to time constraints agreed to by the county in a federal lawsuit settlement and the upcoming council recess in August. All of the recommendations were prepared by the PRC staff, who has worked extensively with the Department of Human Resources and department managements to make sure that they're fully aware of these changes that we're recommending before you. In accordance with the PRC rules, the proposed changes were posted on the PRC's website prior to the PRC's consideration and to your consideration next week. Mr. Chair, we will be recommending the creation of 7 new classifications, 2 of which will result in incumbents being reassigned without any financial impact, and the other 5 will go through the county's recruitment process. The remaining 3 classifications are part of the PRC's routine maintenance process and also will not have a fiscal impact. I thank you for your consideration, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Mr. Busheen.
Thank you. Hello, Director. Is this driven by administration or driven by PRC or driven by code, or how does this work?
The 3, Chair, Councilman Sweeney, the 3 classifications that are routine maintenance, that is something that's driven by the Personnel Review Commission. The new classifications that we're proposing, 4 of them are part of a federal settlement agreement that the county agreed to, and 3 are part of new classifications requested by different departments at the county.
And through the chair, to Albert, when it comes from different departments, it goes through the department and comes right to you, or does it go up to the 8th floor to the executive, and then it gets forwarded to you? And there's normally explanations, and after your due diligence, you say, yes, we're going to bring it forward, or it can come forward without your approval.
Mr. Chairman and Councilman Sweeney, when there's a new classification that the department, the executives departments would like us to create, we have them complete a request form that is signed off not only by the department director, but also the Director of Human Resources, who then forwards us that request for our evaluation.
Okay, but through the chair, like sometimes through the planning commission in Cleveland, it would come not approved, but it still comes to the council. If something gets, it has to be routed, and I don't know the charter as well as I should in regards to this topic. If the administration wants to put a new classification in and it goes to PRC, could it be stopped there?
Chairman, to Councilman Sweeney, it can be. If we deem that there's a classification already in a class plan that's reflective of the duties, we would recommend that they use that current classification. Sometimes in the past, we've also recommended that we update a current classification to meet their needs. We'd like to keep the class plan as manageable as possible, so we're not in the business of just creating new classifications to increase the class plan. So if the job duties are unique enough that warrant it, we will create it. If not, we would recommend that they use a current classification or we update a current classification to meet their needs.
I got it now. But just for through the chair, just the raw functionality of the bureaucracy. Administration wants a classification that doesn't exist. You say it could fit there, fit there, and they could say, no, we want it this way. Can you stop it from moving forward to council, or can they go directly to council without your approval? I don't know the charter that well, so I'm just trying to understand it.
Chairman, to Councilman Sweeney, it's a good question. The PRC we have to propose changes to the class plan, and we meaning the staff, makes recommendation to the Personnel Review Commissioners at a public meeting. If they do not approve a recommendation, it doesn't come forward to council. So that's been the process. Although only council can adopt final changes, you wouldn't even see it if the Personnel Review Commission didn't approve it at their public meeting.
Got it. So the Personnel Review Committee through the Chair Commission was created with some teeth, which is pretty cool. Thank you.
Yes.
I don't have a question. I just, regarding through the chair to Mr. Bushane, regarding the Assistant Board of Control Coordinator, to me, the passage of ordinance 02024-005 has a direct bearing on the work related to this specific position. So my preference would be to hold this particular item until the ordinance amending Chapter 501 of the County Code has been voted on, unless there is some urgency to go forward with just that specific one.
Chairman, to Councilwoman Conwell, there is no urgency to that particular classification, so there is no objection from the PRC if the council wants to hold that one.
I'm requesting we hold it.
Yeah.
Miscellaneous. Hearing, yes, sir.
So, following up on my colleague's recommendation, since it's being prepared for first reading suspension, well, a slightly revised version should be prepared that does not include this item, and then we could proceed with the rest of it.
I believe Albert got that message.
Okay.
Anything further?